George Smith, one of the best pilferers in world rugby. You can see the armbands being worn there by the Wallabies in memory of the late Nicky Barr. George Smith tonight, his 62nd test. The referee tonight is from New Zealand. In fact, we've got Kiwi officials all round. Steve Walsh is the referee. Cuss judges Kelvin Deaker and Lyndon Bray, and the television match official is Jonathan White.
We're ready to go. Sure.
It'll be Australia to kick off. The second Cook Cup test is underway, and that hasn't gone 10 metres.
Been played at by the English side.
Inside the 10. You played it inside the 10? Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, the Australians were prepared to try to let that bounce over the 10-metre line. It was a lucky escape, and straight away, Cairnsey, a scrum.
Oh, how good is that? We did criticise the Australian scrum last week for being set too slow, or too slowly. They did.
Stay where you are.
They did try to set that a little earlier, and then they came back for some reason.
Down. Crouch and hold.
Well, he's lost his patience immediately with the Wallaby front row. Holmes, Fryer and Blake. So the free kick goes to England. And they're up towards the halfway. Richards is good. This is what he's in the team for. His boot, and he gives it plenty of air. It's on the ground. Who wants it? It's been picked up by England. Good was the one running onto it. Back it goes to Nunn, and now Vandal, and close to the touchline. The touchy actually slipped over there. But it's been won by the Wallabies, so they got into a bit of trouble there. And it is a low trajectory kick into touch from Gerard. Oh, a bouncing ball. Anybody's.
Well, that's what we figured. Good was there. They denied it. This is Vandal on the tail end of it. Surely he was out there, but George Smith, look at him move into place, hands on the ball, and from that came the Wallaby seed.
First line out of the match, won by England. Try and get the drive going.
Adam Fryer calling short side then, saying he was caught up in the maul, so he wants someone to guard that short side position.
And now Sanderson gives it to Richards.
He dropped into that tackle from George Smith.
Brad thought there was a swinging arm in there. Good. Well, that didn't go to hand, but the bounce was good for Vandal. Now Belshaw. Sanderson. Through the hands. No, he's going to go on his own. Belshaw. Richards gives it to Good, running to the line. The inside ball to Chris Jones. Up towards the Australian 22. Richards. Now Tate in at first receiver. They've left it behind.
Off an Australian hand.
Yeah, knocked out of the grass by an Australian hand.
Come back, slow ball. Knock on goal.
We'll have another scrum.
Well, what that showed you there already, the English attack going across field. I think they learned a lesson from Richards here, who got hammered by George Smith. Apart from that, they were very lateral.
Guys.
Yeah, there's Rocky Elsom making the tackle but knocking the ball down, thus the scrum.
Wallaby defence was good then.
He's got a cut in his mouth. He's just over
Greg
here.
Holmes was under pressure at one time there because he had a couple of backs running at him.
Down, and when I make a mark, don't move from it.
Well, Kenzie, Steve Walsh is talking to the front row for the Australians.
Okay,
hang on, guys. We're waiting for your 9. Are you happy with that, or?
The cut on George Smith's head after that head clash there with Richards.
See the way that George Smith attacks that ball. God, he's got to be one of Australia's best forwards ever, Marto, I reckon.
I've got no doubt. Age of 25, play 62 tests. Here we go.
Engage.
Richards with the put in. Good field position for England. Go to the left through. Good.
Oh, that's...
Belshaw up from fullback. They got it out the back. Sanderson. Richards. England keeping it alive. And running across field now is Richards linking up with tape, and the gap soon closed. They go to the captain again, Sanderson. He's taken by Blake. And he's going for a three-pointer, Good. Oh, it's over! First points to England.
That was ugly, but it was worth 3 points.
Well, the one thing you can say about the English attack is they're really trying hard at speed. There's plenty of pace in that attack.
Have a look, he sets himself up there. Tom Bardell on this open on the right-hand side was wanting the cross kick. He dummied to go there, then Good has smacked it over.
England 3. Australia 0. Bardell. And that's into touch. Touch judge and referee happy with the challenge from Lottie Dakiri there.
This will be the first time that Australia will see the ball in attack.
Almost 5 minutes gone.
I got a big hunch they're going to be punching it into Good at fly half for England. Larkham and Takiri having a chat at first receiver.
Won by Vickerman down to Cordingley, and there's the kick from Latham first. Picks it up. Oh, fortuitous, but he'll take it.
Pinball wizard, George Smith.
The everywhere man, and they're happy on the bench. Australia, first touch, 5-3.
Oh, talk about a change of momentum. England doing all the attack for the first 5 minutes. Australia get the ball. Larkham tries to put it in behind the defence. George Smith just able to tow it through. Vandell can't get his hands on it. Oh, Smith, he's going, how easy is this?
It's not like him to celebrate before scoring a try. This is obviously what Takiri and Larkham had been talking about. I'll throw the grubber through for you. A lot of things happened before this moment when Smith dived under the post. It doesn't get any easier. Every player from England was standing still watching. That makes up for the cut head for George Smith.
Mortlock adds the extra 2. And so it is now 7 points to 3. The Wallabies over England.
Well, Pat Sanderson will just be saying to his boys, guys, forget about that. That's an aberration. Let's get our hands back on the pill and do the attacking again. Just sometimes that bad luck can turn a game.
From the restart. Great take by the Wallabies. And now Cordingley. Gives it plenty of air. It's into touch. Came off the shoulder of one of the England players.
Yeah, I thought that hurt Mark Gerard. It was a fierce impact there between the two of them. Yeah, I think that gave him a bit of a rib tickler. Worthwhile, Sam Cordingley. It's something that bomb over into the box. Tactic used by South Africans and Six Nations players. He does it well.
Another good take.
Here it is again.
Head by Larkham. Gerard was chasing, but he lost his footing. And they drill it into touch over on the far side, England. So we'll have a line out 12 metres inside England territory.
Well, that's the result of video analysis. They've looked last week and realised the box, which is the area behind the line out, isn't being covered. Larkham attempting to chip through. Well, one Smith scored a try from with the ricochet. That one, he was looking for that uncharted territory again.
You can see the shaded line there on your screen. That is our advantage line. Keep an eye on it as England, when this has been knocked down, but they'll come back.
I thought he made a legitimate attempt.
He'll be humming tonight. Mark Chisholm.
I think it's safe to say they didn't get over the advantage line that time.
No.
Crouch and hold.
We're trying to show the advantage line, but last week the lineouts were very scrappy.
Go half, don't push him.
And we didn't see much phase play from lineouts. With some short arm penalties or full penalty. Kearnsey, penalty goes against the Aussies.
Yeah, well, I think it was against the halfback, you were saying. Looked like a fairly good scrum from the Wallabies, I thought.
Now, I just watched that kick from Andy Good then, the fly half for the English. Another ugly kick. That may have been why the crowd was booing when he dropped that field goal before, because it was a brutal strike of the ball. Got 3 points. I don't think this AFL-loving crowd appreciated the poor technique.
Well, here's Good with the ball and distributing out to Sanderson. Wide they go. Belshaw up from fullback, dummying. Mortlock has him. And it's there again for England as Richards goes into scrum half. Gives it to Good. A short ball out to Jones. Good again onto the left foot this time. Over the head of Gerard, and it's a good bounce.
Excellent kick.
Nine minutes gone. Australia 7, England 3.
That's what he was there for, and talking to the Australian camp before the game, they were ready for those cross kicks. When they say he takes it to the line, he's throwing some very flat passes and then puts in the cross kick quite often.
Number 7, 6, 8. Judges!
Adam Fryer can't find the target, and it's there for Lipman. The late replacement, and now it's back to Good. Noon kicking, but it's way too big. You could tell from the moment it left his boot that it was going to be too long.
Almost did a lap of the moon and came back. That was a ridiculous kick in a try-scoring position. It was 2-on-2 on the outside. There were so many better options after the poor line-out throw. Guernsey letting themselves down, the Australians.
Yeah, they would have been hoping for some quality line-out play. That was not a good throw. England did not take advantage of that as they should have. It's come back to England scrum, playing the advantage for that crooked line-out throw.
Crouch and hold. No. Sorry, guys. No. Come back over here, guys. Hookers over here, please. Crouch and hold. Engage.
Richards puts it in.
Number 10, last feet. And use that!
Have a look at the bottom of the screen. 5 English back.
Oh, Stephen Larkham has been penalised.
10. Don't go on with it. Intentional forward.
Deliberate
penalty.
knockdown.
Steve Larkham not happy here because he took, well, gee.
How was that a deliberate knockdown when he had an upward motion?
He had an upward motion with his hand, and then Pete Richards takes him out.
If he wasn't collected, he could have intercepted it.
Well, now we go back to Jones on the 22 as they lost some ground there, England. Here's Good. And now Tate, the 7 specialist, trying to step his way through. Richards again, taken by Larkham. And they've lost it. Larkham, downtown it goes. Latham giving chase. Getting back there is Cat for England. And he got away from Latham, and now it's into Good, who got back there. Slight fumble. Sanderson over to Vandal on the left wing, taken by Gerard.
England have got tremendous width right across the park.
It was Kay that time with the diving pass, and now...
And the Wallabies have turned it over.
Now accordingly, Mortlock, Latham, there's the kick through for Takiri to chase. Belshaw, taken by Takiri, and Takiri throws him into the in goal.
Oh, brilliant stuff, Lottie Takiri. The kick was the only option there from Chris. Was it Chris Latham?
Yeah, they were 3 on 6, outnumbered the Australians.
And what a great kick it was, perfectly weighted. But Lottie Takiri still had plenty of work to do. He forced Belshaw in behind his own line.
Rucks and mauls. 16-2. Wallabies 2 on the blind side. Latham, Takiri.
No ball.
They need a very, very solid scrum here. The back row must stay on.
Crouch and hold. Engage.
Accordingly with the put in.
Advantage offside, 9 white.
Richards was offside, so accordingly leaves it behind, and Takiri picks it up on the run. Lays it back.
Come back, please.
Accordingly. Larkham.
Gerard's out there.
Oh! They'll love that here in Melbourne.
Gazali. Up there, Gerardo.
When the scrum went down, which was, what, 30, 45 seconds ago, he parked himself outside the touchline. Waited, waited, waited. Finally, the ball came. Larkham knew he was there. No one else remembered. He even had to come infield to get this over the top of Matthew Tate. He outweighs him by 20 kilograms. Look at that. Great try. Good take.
Oh, and that's hurt him too as he's come down. We touched on his shoulder being sore before, and I think he's come straight down on top of it. That was brilliant. Jezelenko, remember him.
The home of AFL. I think he's got some rib difficulties.
So a try last week, a try tonight. Made his debut in 2005. Had a terrible run with injuries. Was all set to make his debut and then was ruled out on a couple of occasions.
The dispiriting thing for England here is that every time Australia touch the ball, they score. That's the problem.
That's not a good problem to have.
All they got to do is keep the ball off the Australians.
That means don't kick it.
Mortlock from out wide. We can't add the extras this time. It's 12 points to 3. Australia over England.
15 minutes in, Sterling Mortlock has not touched the ball, and for reasons like this, they don't need him. Gerard, super aerial skills. Always going to win that one against Matthew Tate, a much smaller man.
So from the restart after 15 minutes, back it goes to
Torpedo from Larkham.
Not going to find touch. And Belshaw kicks it back downtown. Bounce is good here for Latham. Onto the trusty left boot. Into touch. They can take a quick throw if they want. No, they don't.
Interesting watching Chris Latham warm up. Mardochi gets out there early and kicks a lot of balls before the game.
And it shows there too, the timing immaculate. Just a little bit of an aerial teaser for any AFL fans who have dropped along tonight to watch the Wallabies for the first time. So that was a great strike by Latham. Again, the English backs very wide from this line out.
Good. They're almost up to that advantage line. And Latham watching it go into the in goal.
It's one of the areas that annoys me a little bit in terms of you can get time wasting if you're not feeding a scrum a line out. Take all the time in the world to kick a 22 restart.
Oh, hang on, hang on. Sorry, guys. Listen,
Now there's another ball on the field.
Thank you. Yep, yep.
Larkham eventually at the restart, taken by the big number 5, Ben Kay, the 30-year-old, playing his 41st international Rugby World Cup winner in 2003.
Last feet.
Cat at first receiver. Good. And Cat at first receiver. Standing out wide. Good tackle by Mortlock. Still there for England. Up towards the 22. Having a run now is Graham Roundtree, the veteran. 35 years of age and still going. Here's good. Nowhere to go. Taken by Sharp and Smith. Short side they go. Sanderson can't find a way through there. Mortlock underneath. Holmes over the top.
Last feet, 3.
Ryle was there as well. Penalty against England.
Into a maul at the back. It was a ruck, and number 1 turned it into a maul at the back.
Yep, picking the ball up off the ground while there's a ruck in play.
Well, I mean, and all front rowers, as I do, love him like a brother. But Graham Roundtree was playing first receiver on an occasion just before this, and you don't want those blokes out there at playing at 5'8".
You want them rubbing their ears on other men's shoulders and heads. That's what. Oh, there he is. World gurning champion.
Can we come down, please, White?
Made his debut in 1995. Rugby World Cup veteran, 95 and 99. Now, Adam Fryer, his 8th appearance in Wallaby Gold tonight. And it goes. And over the top, but the bounce, well, for a moment it was okay.
Missy ball, not straight.
Not straight, so Adam just having a bit of trouble finding the target.
Yeah, there just seems to be a lack of communication going on in there in the line out, whether it's Adam or where the call's coming from and how that call's being interpreted, but very unusual.
Pull out, thank you. Engage. Arm up, 1.
Oh, good scrum by the Wallabies.
But it's there for Richards, and now good. Here we go again. He's partially charged that kick, and Takiri got away from Cat, fires it over to Gerard on a great pass, and Gerard just couldn't kick it before he put it foot into touch.
Well, there we go. Nothing really lost there. Lottie Takiri sweeping across, shoveling onto Gerard. I think that trip was the reason for the wayward pass.
Rodney Blake is down injured at the moment.
Okay, well, let's get some analysis now from Rod Kafer while we have a break. And Rod, that first try from the Australians, take us through it.
Yeah, I think what Stephen Larkin was seeing was the Tom Varndell looking after his opposition player and creating that big hole in behind the first line, and George Smith just getting the lucky bounce. But it was Steve Larkin and Lottie Takiri had spotted that space, and they said, let's put the ball in behind him and see if we can't win it.
Win it they did eventually. That was the first try. We've seen another try for the kick to Mark Gerard out wide. Floppy again there, but the Wallabies have it. Halfway through the first half, 12-3 Australia over England.
I think it was Rocky Elsom that snaffled that one on the way through.
Crouch and hold.
Tackle in a very awkward position.
And on my left, please.
Elsom has 8 on his back. You can see him backing it. Open side flanker though.
Wallaby backline getting a little bit excited. No, they're going to put the safety first measure of putting it out through Gerard.
I'm going to talk all game. No, I'm not going to talk. You leave him alone, please.
Not happy with the distance gain there.
I understand what you're saying.
Steve Walsh not happy, I think, with Pete Richards then, and him all over the back of the Wallaby scrum. Whether it be all over Cordingley, I wasn't sure.
No, Shooter finds the target in Ben Kay. Backing opportunity here for England. They've certainly had enough time down inside the Wallaby territory. Anderson has it trapped at the back now as they try to drive it up towards the 22.
Well, play typical of the Leicester pack, and there are 5 of them out there tonight in the England front 8.
They're a lot tighter than last week when they went on the driving maul, Kernsey.
A lot tighter and a lot more composed.
Still they drive it. Now they're inside the Wallaby 22.
The key in these situations is not to get yourself isolated.
Stay bound.
Sanderson's had the ball at the back.
And now they
Away
release
goes.
through Good. Cut out pass, Tate. Gives it to Belshaw. Great tackle though, Mortlock. Still there for England. Richards gives it to Cat, looking for runners. Here's Sanderson now. Richards. Cat over the top. Varndell. Takiri.
Not going to let him go this week.
He's in the touch.
Oh, he wanted that one badly, didn't he, Lottie Takiri?
Slammed him outside the sumo ring, picked him up, threw him out, because there's been a lot of coverage this week how Varndell put a footwork and beat Lottie Takiri last week. Have a look, gets hold of him, Out you go, big boy.
White, space, please. White across, captain.
He'll need a bit of confidence in his throw, Adam Fryer here.
A black 5.
Playing too
white
much
5.
of the match inside their own territory, the Wallabies. But they lead 12-3. And this time it's to the back and Blake can't control it.
Came in, he didn't come in, number 5.
But it's a free kick. And Rodney
Numbers on
Blake.
the line out. Halfback entering.
Blake down injured there.
Well, let's get some analysis again from Rod Kafer as we wait for this injury break. And the lineouts, Rod, what do you make of it?
Yeah, I think the issue that Australia has, as you can see here quite clearly, the gap in the lineout's very small. And Adam Fryer's throwing against the England team who are encroaching across the mark. They need to be asking for a much bigger gap, which will allow the jumpers to jump a little bit cleaner.
Guernsey, last week we didn't see a big gap, did we?
No, it was a very narrow gap last week as well. Referees not engaging that area a lot. Big worry for Australia if Rodney Blake can't play on.
Well, a freakish injury as well too, wasn't it? We're just trying to clean up a loose ball. Here he is now.
Tackled without the ball.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, that would hurt.
His leg trapped.
Free kick here, goal.
Yeah, that gap in the line, it isn't a regulation. It's just what the referee feels is supposed to be at least a metre. Ooh, that would hurt.
Well, those ankles are carrying 130 kgs of prime Australian beef.
They're big house stumps, but it's a big house.
He'll just try and run it out. Rodney Blake, try on debut last week. George Shooter.
Much more of a gap. Sorry, Clarkie. Much more of a gap in the line out this occasion.
Shooter able to find the target again. 10-metre mark, England territory.
3, get out of there. 6 in the sides. Don't go in there.
It's against Mark Chisholm coming in from the side.
No, it's just here.
Penalty England.
He's just watching Rodney Blake. I don't think he's going to be able to play on. He's limping badly.
He's looking at the reserves bench oh, there he is now. He's gone.
You could see the way he was very lazy going to that maul. He was the one that got penalised from going into the from the side.
We play on.
Al Baxter. We might see him on the park before too long.
Come down in the middle, mate.
My sources tell me that he was going to get a start at Loosehead next weekend against the Irish, Al Baxter. It's most likely going to be a tight end.
And Shooter again finds his man. Penalty to England. 10-metre mark. Australian territory. So these lineouts last week, Australia pretty well. They stole 5 throws from England, but it's a different story tonight.
Close, guys.
Well, from what I'm told, Good is having a shot here. There's Chisholm and Vickerman having a chat about the lineouts and their combinations in. Good is a massive place kicker of the ball. Regularly kicks over the top of the goalpost in the UK.
Thank you. Yeah, no, it's all right. It's all right. Yeah.
Doesn't look like he messes around too.
Yes.
Good. It's a good strike. It's there. He's keeping England in touch. Drop goal early on. Now a penalty goal. And it's 12 points to 6. The man from Leicester who turned down a professional cricket contract at one stage. Very versatile young sportsman. And Rodney Blake, after that dream debut last week, scoring a try. You can see the disappointment on his face. Freakish accident, just trying to clean up the loose ball at line-out time. So Blake is off and Al Baxter is on.
Over.
Oh, that's a beauty from Good.
Dakiri throws it in quickly. And now Latham sending it down to Good on his own 22.
Inside is 22.
Not out. And Dakiri over to Larkham in midfield. Oh.
Well done from Balshaw.
Didn't have much of an angle to play with and just fires it into touch. We'll have a line out just about on the 10-metre mark.
Well, when we're talking, oh, Balshaw, that was well done. Good balance. It can go over the plane, but you're allowed to get it back in.
3, 6, 9. Let's go. Go, go, go.
Oh, one by Chisholm. Accordingly, Latham, Rogers, and now Mortlock, and he can't control it. It's on the ground. Who wants it? Cat. Sanderson on the inside. Good support play from Shooter.
Well, there's chances out to the left. They're going to be slow, though.
17 gold. Don't come on and disrupt, okay? Go back, please. You're on the ground playing the ball.
Playing the ball on the ground.
I'll tell you what, it was well worthwhile slowing that one down. Almost a yellow card if you looked at the situation, how it was unfolding for England. They had an enormous 6-2 overlap on the left-hand side. That is Rogers' first touch of the ball as far as I remember. May well be Mortlock's too. We're in the 28th minute. First time it's gone to the centre's hand.
I don't think that Sterling thought that Matt Rogers is going to be able to get that ball away.
He doesn't often pass Matt Rogers either.
England throw into the line out.
To the line, please.
35 metres out.
Thank you.
England again wide.
Running onto it is Noon. And that's great work by the outside centre. Up towards the 22. They drive it to the 22. That might be a turnover. It is. And now accordingly, penalty against England. Relieving penalty for the Wallabies.
Rucket form.
Jamie Noon at outside centre for the England got them well and truly over the advantage line, but then they blew it.
Interesting tonight. There's Steve Larkham. He's all over Pete Richards. Richards getting a little bit back, a little bit of his own back after last week. I like watching him play. He's an aggressive little halfback.
Yeah, you're right.
That's a great touch finder as well.
Geez, you've got to think.
Kicking a lot more than we've seen in the past from Stephen Larkham.
Sure, boys. Yep,
You've got to think he was close to offside from that previous play.
So we have the whole opportunity to load on number 6 or 8. Time off, please.
The hold up for something at the moment.
Rocky Elson.
Yeah, just for blood.
Blood, but blood. We just give yourself a little space here.
Not a bad crowd here tonight in Melbourne. No AFL games in town.
Are you going to be able to do this?
Plenty of people all over Australia watching. A bunch down the Barrymore Beach Club having a look, Clarkie. Big club night.
Oh, no. Here you go again.
What?
We're giving one of your pubs or something a plug. Where are we now?
Balmoral, mate.
Oh, that's all right.
Again, it's a sloppy line-out from the Wallabies. And Richards taken about 25 out from his own line. Good, punishing them, but not finding touch in the end. Certainly has a big boot on him. Now Latham. Good.
Oh, goodness.
Well, it's into touch, but
He has the greatest mixture of rubbish with perfect kicks I've ever seen from a footballer. It didn't look like I worried him too much either.
leading point scorer last premiership in the UK, 258 points.
3, 4, 9.
Taken by Chisholm. Accordingly, diving pass, Latham dummying, almost through, Richards just holds on. Latham lays it back. Here we go now with the vice-captain, Vickerman. Hands it off to his locking partner, Sharp. 10-metre mark.
On the right. No, they're going left.
And accordingly, well, we expected him to have a bit of a snipe around the ruck. Hasn't really happened yet. Hasn't had a lot of room, and the Wallabies haven't had a lot of ball, to be fair. Now the replacement, El Baxter. He lays it back. Fryer gives it to Larkham. Is Mortlock dummying. Mortlock! Oh! Pulled down from behind by Richards. It's a great tackle. And so they've turned it over.
Aggressive counter-rucking has provided the ball for the English.
That's well done, England. Oh, George Shooter shaped a kick and then had second thoughts. Cat and Belshaw up over the 22. Good. And now Vandel. He's got some toe. And so is Latham. He got across in cover to bundle him into touch.
Well, they needed someone to straighten that Greg Martin earlier, because if Vandel had more space, he was away.
Yeah, he did need a little bit more room to beat because he had no room to work his footwork. He only had to back his pace, and Latham actually had him covered there. Well, the fact was earlier on they had two forwards. One of them was Chisholm. I didn't see who the other one was. It was 3-on-3.
Bit of a break here as Rocky Elson receives some treatment. Let's have a look at England's attack with Rod Kafer.
To start to get the ball a little bit wider. Andy Good sending the long pass here. And the numbers, 4 England attackers against the 4 Aussie defenders. Sterling Mortlock did an excellent job of reading the play. He always knew that he had Ian Bolshaw as 15 and they numbered off, and a great tackle. But England threatening out wide tonight, a little bit different to last week.
The big moment out there for Wycliffe Palu at 18 for the Wallabies. He's on debut. Palu and the kick out wide again. This time Gerard just couldn't get there to put some pressure on Belshaw. It's there for England, although Takiri's in there contesting. Good. Trying to relieve some pressure. And it's into touch. Quick throw in by the Wallabies. Larkham. He doesn't want it to go out, but anyway, an opportunity here for them to give it to Vandel. And away he goes. He's got Adam Fry to beat. Got rid of Fryer. Here's Julian White. Cat onto the runners. And it's Lipman, the late replacement. The man from Warringah in Sydney. Advantage being played here for England. Worsley. Taken by Mortlock.
Come on, side. Come back. No. It's a knock on.
Well, Pat Richards knew they were playing advantage. He thought it was for a penalty. For a knock on. If he had his time over again, I think he would have preferred to have kept the ball in hand.
Okay. A few injuries here. In other words, I think the English attack went on for more than 2 minutes and they're in need of a break.
Oh, you're harsh. Come from a bloke who's just been seen sunning himself on some island up in Queensland, and you're bagging these English blokes.
They're looking forward to heading home for some sunshine. They haven't had a lot here on the 2-test tour of Australia. There's Cliff Palu. What a moment for Cliff and his cousin Mark Gerard in Wallaby gold. 23 years of age, Kersey, 120 kgs.
Oh, he's a good player. I enjoyed watching him in Super 14 this year. Pity he had that injury worry, I think shoulder.
No. Guys, no ball.
Wallaby range thrust. You see up the back there, Laurie Fisher is here as an observer.
I'm up here.
The Brumbies sitting alongside the scrum doctor, Alec Evans.
Oh, there's a good scrum by the Wallabies.
But England have it, and Sanderson picks it up, and there's a right at the back,
Palu.
and they turn it over, and now it's Takiri. Takiri. Taken by Shooter. Accordingly, Larkham.
Oh, no chasers.
One thing to kick, but you need the chase. Vandel, across it goes. Into touch, so a bit of a gain for the Wallabies there.
Well, an interesting night for Al Baxter. Last test he played, he had that interesting scrummaging night against England, but there's Wycliffe Palu making an impact the first touch of the ball.
Looked very much like a knock forward, but when it's your first touch, you can get away with it. It's like backyard cricket, can't get out first ball.
Wallabies needing to get this line out working, and that was a little bit better. And they got away with the fumble in the end.
Oh, mile offside, a couple of those English.
Maybe they got back just in the nick of time, and they were right up in the face of Mortlock. My cat, the tackler.
Leave him, don't touch him.
That's the halfway mark.
No 12. Back on.
Palu. Levi Palu from a standing start. Been knocked down. Scrum time.
That rushing defence, the English are trying it. Unsettled the Wallabies last weekend.
I was actually looking forward to the collision between Palu here, and I think it was Chris Jones coming up there in defence.
From his blind side, always a tough one.
Get down, please, Gold. Engage.
How's this Wallaby scrum with Al Baxter at tight head?
It moved. Let's go. Time it, please. White, time it.
Well, it's lighter, that's for sure.
Here's your mark. Crouch and hold. No.
3.5 to go in the first half. Australia 12, England 6. Sloppy at the back again, and Larkham at pass Mortlock. That was good defence by England in midfield.
Clarkie would have been a classic for our advantage line. They've gone backwards 12-15 metres. Now they move forwards.
Here's Palu.
And Adam Fryer.
White hands, no hands.
Halfway mark.
No, three. Stay out of it.
Larkham. Rogers.
No!
Well, he spotted a gap and soon closed. Here's Gerard across now to Latham.
Well, there's obstruction.
Oh, he stayed on his feet.
Oh, great run, Latham. One to beat. Latham.
Latham saw him coming from a mile away.
Lote Takiri puts it down untouched. 22nd test try in his 40th test match, and Australia leads 17-6, 38th minute.
Well, I did suggest there was some obstruction early, but it was the late stuff that was magical. Latham looked at Balshaw. It was going to be a one-on-one. I thought maybe a tip. Let's have a look. There was a second line plan. He threw back to Gerard. I thought maybe obstruction there. Let it go. I'm a big fan of that myself. So he's beaten 5 men. Then he looks up. What was he doing at this point? You weren't sure, but he knew exactly. He sucked in 2 defenders, turned it inside to Keary on the straight angle, easy as you like.
He looked around, he saw 3 defenders, one coming across, one in front of him, and one coming in from the wing towards him. He just changed his direction. He knew Takiri was going to come up at an angle, just hit straight onto it.
You've got the ball. It's like the red cape as a matador. The Bulls will keep following you, and that's what he did. He took them all across field and opened it up.
Mortlock adds the extra 2. 19 points to 6. Australia versus England.
Have a look at him. That's 3. There's 4. And then he's about to approach. I thought he'd go straight at Balshaw, the fullback, with a chip kick. No, he was smarter than that. Played it magnificently. A deserved try. Came from nothing. 50 metres out.
Chris Jones did well to get across in cover, but just didn't have the gas to get to Takiri. They're inside the final minute of the first half. Accordingly, Latham onto the trusty left foot. Into touch up towards halfway.
Some of these stats, rucks and mauls, 32-15 to England. There it is now.
Excuse me, blue headgear.
So again, they find themselves well and truly down on the scoreboard, although maybe not deserved of that sort of margin, Kernsey.
Well, they've had plenty of ball. They just haven't used it. The Australian line-out has been pretty average, so that's helped England as well. I'd say they're just not taking their opportunities.
Here's White. 10-metre mark, Australian territory. Roundtree. Half-time siren has sounded. And Good, this time they might have been waiting for the drop goal. Tell you what, he almost regathered again.
No, he wasn't. Lost forward, no, 7 wasn't. The other guys, yeah, it's half-time.
That is half-time. at the Telstra Dome in Melbourne. Second Cook Cup test in Australia. Lead England by 19 points to 6.
Yeah, and we just saw George Smith finish the half. He started it with a try. The Australians dominant on the scoreboard, not so much around the field. It was England did the better job. But the Wallabies, I would say it was their defence. That was one of the strong points. Not that England don't have a solid attack. Australians just held them to it.
So at the break, Australia have scored 3 tries. Latham not too well at the moment, but they lead by 19 points to 6. It's Australia over England.
Looks like he's limping a little bit, Adam Fry.
So some change there in the front row for Australia as we get underway in the second half. Change in the front row for England as well. Graham Roundtree has been replaced by Tim Payne. And that kick is into touch, and Good throws it quickly.
Well, that was Latham's fitness test, that's for sure.
Oh! Vardell has made a mess of that. And now it's the Wallabies with an early chance in the second half inside England's 22. Accordingly, not a great pass. George Smith taken by Katz. Good ball and all tackle. Short side they go. Ball out to Rocky Elsom. And Elsom back on the inside. Intercepted, though, by England and into touch.
Chris Jones in jersey 4 there for England did wonderfully well to intercept that one.
Well, interesting development here. From what I can see, 17, which is Tim Payne, is on for Graham Roundtree, and 19, which is Magnus Lund, is on for Julian White, which will mean uncontested scrums if that's the case. Just trying to confirm that at the moment.
Jeremy Paul over to Chisholm, and now the Wallabies drive it up towards the England try line. Waiting for it.
Oh, that's rubbish to Sam Cordingley.
And Larkham took him on. Was that knocked off?
Oh, the referee! Steve Walsh, that's magic play.
Oh, he's got great hands. That's
Come
Steve
on,
Walsh.
give us a smile, Steve. That was great stuff. Come on, Steve.
Oh.
Yeah, come on, you want a smile. Look at him. Give me the ball, it's mine. I'm over. Field goal.
He wanted to deliver the inside ball, didn't he?
All I ask the back rowers.
Well, he knew.
I know it's
And
not
he couldn't get out of the way.
as well. Yeah, you know, I'm going to ask them. Yep.
Vickerman down in back play.
It's not the way I rule today.
Oh, I love moments like
rowers,
that
stay
in
balanced.
sport.
Okay. Yes, mate.
I would have loved to have seen him turn and run over for a try. Do you reckon the IRB assessors would have marked that catch highly?
Oh, 10 out of 10. He'll get the World Cup final on that performance.
Well, Kearnsey, what are you talking about the English scrum? So they've replaced Roundtree. Payne would have replaced him, correct?
Yeah. And then Lund, I think, has gone on for White.
So, well, there was no power in that scrum.
Absolutely uncontested scrums. Which, don't be surprised if you see Holmes come off the field to be replaced by a flanker.
So here's Graham Roundtree in that right ear. He's copped another hammering tonight. And Jeremy Paul is on there.
You couldn't get Phil Waugh on there quick enough for Greg Holmes, could you?
It's play on, and there's Holmes.
Oh, straight over the top of Richards.
Accordingly, and Larkham kicking again.
Gerard's there.
Oh!
Gerard Moore! Sterling Moore! Oh, great defence by England. It had 5 points written all over it, but somehow the scrambling defence got across there and pulled the big man down.
Oh, I think it was Mike Catt that got across there. What about this take?
Oh, Melbourne, the home of AFL, and that pass. That was the thing that bamboozled them. Only Inspector Gadget would have got here. He was just found short. He thought he was going to do one of his trademark slams. That tackle there, that's incredible stuff.
Yeah, Jamie Noon it was that got across, Catt over the top. Oh, this is adventurous.
So England running it.
And there's Vardell.
Oh, flyer over on the far side. Melbourne fans would remember his efforts for England at the Commonwealth Games sevens. Can't believe it.
Lottie Takiri rubbed salt into a very open wound by slamming him over the sideline after he'd made the error.
God, how important is the ability to be able to pass a football?
Well, it's up there.
Spoken like a true hooker.
Oh.
And now the Wallabies with a chance inside Takiri. Not this time though. The gap soon closed. Lays it back for Cordingley. Larkham. Short ball.
Oh, super.
Chisholm. Mark Chisholm got a hand laid on him. And isn't he happy? Starting in the number 6 jumper for the very first time. His 15th test, and he's now got 4 test tries.
You can see that coming a mile away. Stephen Larkham just attacking the defence and just holding up a pass for a straight runner. It's all he had to do. Look at that. So easy. The defence started to drift across, which was straight away going to leave a hole open, and it just needed a straight runner.
A wise man will lurk next to Stephen Larkham when you're close to the try line. That's the thing. He came from behind him. He stayed straight and got inside Matthew Tate. And look at the now. He loves scoring tries, whether it's for Brumbies or the Wallabies, and he scored plenty of them. Mark Chisholm making his post for the number 6 jersey for the Wallabies in the absence of Daniel Heenan.
Oh, he's delighted. Wardlock will try and add the extra 2. And the captain doesn't miss it from there. Very handy lead now for the Wallabies. 26-6, 46th minute. Fancy a real test of character now for this Peering England team.
It is, yeah. It's a tough call now for Pat Sanderson, the skipper, to try and rally the troops to get them to keep fighting on.
From the restart, good take again by the Wallabies. George Smith popping it onto the boot. Belshaw. Halfway mark.
Last week, please.
Richards. Good. Oh my goodness.
It had to happen.
Mile forward.
Clark, it's been going on 3 times tonight. Finally, they've pinged him.
I mean, his first step then when he got that ball, Andy Good, was to run backwards. So straight away, his runners are going to struggle.
Yeah, you make life hard.
Loosies.
No contact in the scrum, which means the loose forwards can break very quickly and it impacts on the backs, everything. There's men offside.
That's gone to ground, and Smith is back there to clean it up. Pat Richards, the scrum half, being warned by the referee to get onside, and Andy was just now finding the gap. Richards taken by Latham though. Shooter throws the dummy.
The hooker.
John Shooter chased by a front rower, and Shooter has fooled everybody. Look at the delight on the faces of the likes of Richards and his teammates. They're on their feet in the stand. 26 points to 11.
Call us through it, Phil Kerr.
Oh, I didn't want England to score a try tonight, but if it had to be a try for them, Shooter's the man to do it. The pacey hooker, the wily hooker. Look at the lovely dummy that he throws. There's Richards, made the initial break. Pops it up. Here's the dummy. Oh, we all fell for that. Well, we didn't in the commentary box, but they did on the field. Great chase from Al Baxter.
I'm not sure whether someone hasn't been held back here. Let's have another look. Great work by Richards. Super player we saw last weekend again. Just on the left-hand side of the screen, was there obstruction on Jeremy Paul by Mike Catt?
Or Greg Holmes. And here's the conversion attempt. It's wide. So it's 26 points to 11. And that is the first try England has scored on this trip down under. Good shooter. Debut off the bench last week. Got the start tonight. And that's his first test try.
That was a handy team try. They came from 65, 70 metres out to score that one with some good enterprising play. Well deserved. Finally, the welter of possession paying off.
The Wallabies kicking off this time, taken by Chris Jones, man from Sale.
Crucial that the Wallabies don't switch off mentally here. They want to rack up a big score. 26-11 is not a big score.
Party's being played here for England.
Al Baxter again in trouble.
There's Shooter, taken by Cordingley. George Smith over the top of him.
He threw the dummy again, Shooter. He thought he was going to be away.
At the top of his game for Hooker.
I think Pete Richards just had a chat to him. He said, "One's enough, thanks, mate. Pass it to me next time."
Good finds touch.
I think John Connolly will be very disappointed with the fact that these scrums are uncontested now. He would have wanted to see his lads in a contest.
There's our advantage line there as well, the shaded area. And England getting up towards it now. Wide they go. Belshaw kicking. And it's into touch on the full.
That's no good when you're on the fly and you still got men to spare. Wasting ball. Kenzie, you talk about those scrums. I was talking to John Connolly before the game and asking him about how much video analysis of what happened last week. He said, yeah, we did all that, but what these blokes need is lots and lots of scrums under that same sort of pressure. Because he was going to rotate them next week, bring in, I think, Shepherdson and Baxter most likely. Whether or not he's seen enough of these two, Holmes and Blake.
George Smith at first receiver. Larkham, planned move. Rogers inside for Carey. That's forward. Call back.
You'd love to make my own decision on that one. It was pretty flat. How many times have we seen that successfully pulled off, including Lang Park to Suncorp Stadium 2 years ago?
Well, is this what we've all been waiting to see? Phil Waugh in the front row. I'll give that as forward.
Referee had no hesitation in blowing it up. Planned backline move. Nice to see the backline in action. Nardo, I have to ask the question. Have you seen a big difference with the service from Sam Cordingley instead of George Gregan tonight?
Not really. I was impressed by the pass when Chisholm scored his try, the pass from Cordingley to Larkham. Other than that, there hasn't been enough to really gauge.
Phil Waugh talking to his wife at home, just asking how the kids are. Yeah, everything's good.
Talking to the
Michael Foley,
restarts coach Michael Foley. Well, there's a steal. The line-out has been a problem tonight for the Wallabies.
What would Foley have been saying to him, Kearnsey? Tape your ears, it's hell up there in the front row.
I know John Eales certainly considered John Connolly as a line-out maestro as they go wide.
Belshaw, 22-metre mark. Well, I asked you not so long ago, Kearnsey, about England, saying it'll be a real test of their character. Well, they've hit back with one try, and there's still plenty of time. Still asking questions of the Wallaby defence. Kay hands it off to Good, having a run. 25 out, good pick and drive from Kay. Leicester teammates combining. Here's Richards. Cat! Oh, Cat!
Yeah.
Straight through.
No, obstruction there.
Oh, I reckon that is so clever. They've done wonderfully well. In rugby league, they let you get away with that. It's got to come after the 2007 Rugby World Cup. Have a look. It was pure deception that allowed him to get away from that. I'm a fan of that.
Mark Gerard with the shoulder charge there as well. You have to be careful about that.
Now,
it's allowed in rugby league, but not in rugby union.
Yeah, but if a dummy runner is fooled into taking somebody else without the dummy runner pushing him out of the way, the defender opted to take that dummy runner because he was tricked. Surely that should be a good enough reason to let Cat through the gap.
So here is the change, and this has been brought about because we have uncontested scrums. England Do not have 3 fit front rowers, so the scrums are uncontested. That means that Phil Waugh can come on and replace a front rower.
Yeah, John Connolly, as I was saying before, Ealesy rated him as a line-out coach, and he'll be very disappointed with the Wallaby line-out tonight. It has been ordinary.
So accordingly, waiting for this ball to come out. Diving pass across to Rogers. He's going to go to the air, over to Takiri's wing, but it's not high enough.
No, that was
the mark. And Tate.
Well, they're having a crack, England. Well, they were until they went to Good. Decided to put it on the hoof.
And the touch.
You can see guys like Vandel, Cat, Tate. They want to have a run.
Stewie Abbott coming on there in 22.
For Mike Cat.
No, for Matthew Tate, I think.
Oh, well, Cat put his hand up. Cat started to move, so I'm off.
He wanted to come off. Time for my holidays to start.
The young 20-year-old Matthew Tate from the Newcastle Falcons, teammate of former Wallaby fullback Matt Burke, as a breather. And now the Wallabies put it through the hands. Straight running from Latham. Can't find a way through there. Waugh at scrum half. Here's Elsom. Penalty against the attacking team. Holding on. Good.
George Gregan warming up.
I'll tell you, I was just looking at that, Kernsey. An unfamiliar sight on the sideline was George Gregan throwing practice passes and limbering up.
And what a moment for George Gregan. 120th Test appearance, a new world record. Congratulations, George. Your eyes do not deceive you. Yes, he is wearing number 20 on his back and not number 9. What a moment. Another line-out win for England. And straight through. Some ordinary defence there as Nooney needed support. Latham just held on to one boot. And Good out to the fullback coming in, Belshaw.
Good defence from Mortlock.
Advantage being played here. Slapped down there by Lottie Takiri. Penalty England. Well, they're still asking questions, aren't they? 26 points to 11. Still plenty of time.
Well, they've still got the possession stats running well and truly with them. That's the thing. Lottie Takiri, a bit of roughhouse stuff. He has been very determined tonight.
Richards certainly having a crack. He's not going to win that one against Takiri. 3 line breaks to England.
His tackles, 15 apiece. So easy for Noon to find the gap a minute or so ago. And now England will back themselves here to try and drive it up towards the Wallaby byline, but the Wallabies resisting.
Good defence from the Wallabies, but away they go.
And Good goes across field now. It's 2-on-1 over here. The bounce is not good for England, though. Picked up now by Belshaw, taken by Mortlock. He gets it away to Cat. Smith is all over the top of him. And now Sanderson hits it up towards the 22. Cat, Good. Oh, line ball. It's okay, says the referee. Cat again to Good. And now this is Abbott, the new man, fresh legs.
They're troubling the Australians here, the English. Running a more direct line in attack.
Shooter tries to dummy again. Picked up a couple of metres. Inside the Wallaby 22. Good. Taken there by Nathan Sharp in front of the uprights. Richards. Abbott. Cut out pass. Belshaw picked it up well. Handed it off to Noon. It's taken by Rogers. Referee blows it up. He's going to give the put into England.
I tell you what, they went 8 phases, but in the end, I think they lost 3 metres from where they originally got the ball from the set piece. On the other side of the field, granted, they covered plenty of territory, went back 3 metres. Testimony to good defence from the Australians.
Look at that. England well and truly dominating possession. 2-1. But it's Australia still in control.
Phil Kearns weeping uncontrollably at the side of a uncontested scrum.
Here's Good. He's going to the air. Cross to Lottie Takiri's wing. Tap back on the inside. Who wants it? Pat has it. Still inside the Wallaby 22.
Oh, look at that counter-rucking from Mortlock.
Excellent play, Sterling Mortlock.
And Gregan had players all over him.
There's nobody
Here's the chase.
Worsley. Go Worsley. Cross here to Noon. He's been affected tonight, Jamie Noon. Gregan. Larkham. Halfway. Gerard. Wonderbeck. Oh, no, just into touch. He had a replacement forward from England coming across, but gee, you'd think he would have won the race to the ball. Just on the white line. Kelvin Deeker, the touch judge, right onto him.
I think he saw the line quite late. I think he thought he had more room than what he did.
Well, he was enjoying the play from Stephen Larkham that got the ball into his hands so much that his tiptoeing through the tulips was misguided.
What about the counter-rucking from Sterling Mortlock on the other side of the field?
Line out one again by England on their own throw. Dude, Sanderson. Right into the turf by Smith.
Good play, both players.
Cat, Good, Van Dal. Trying to get on the outside of Takiri, and Takiri says, come on. Have another crack at me.
I hope he enjoyed last week because that has been put to bed. He won't ever beat Lottie Takiri again. Look at that foreshadowing.
Yeah, just had to put him on the ground for good luck too.
A little pinch behind the ear there too, I think. Caught that one.
I think he gave him a Chinese burn on the way up.
Wedgie.
Line out. England saying not straight, but the referee is going to play on.
Hold on.
Flash there.
Huge hit on Littman on George Smith.
Here's Mortlock.
Oh, how's he got hold of that?
Gregan. Worsley was waiting for him though. Chisholm into scrum half. Here's Gerard. Oh, floater out to George Smith. Van Dal, I thought for a moment was going to have a crack. Now the crowd want Takiri to get going.
Oh, he ran.
They were playing advantage.
Number 4.
Takiri came inside there looking for Van Dal to push off. George Smith was out there having a rest. He still hadn't recovered from that tackle by Littman when he didn't have the ball. Where's Van Dal, he says. Oh, there he is.
I'll push him off.
Yeah, it's personal. Taking a shot at goal, therefore it is serious to the Australians. They're already 15 out, so more than 2 converted tries ahead. Want to go further.
Pretty happy with the way that England are having a crack and trying to come back at the Wallabies.
Yeah, I'd be happy if I was their coaching staff.
Execution hasn't been brilliant. Mostly just from passing.
Yeah,
some of the passes that have gone to hand and been in front of the man as they're running onto the ball could have been a different story.
Jamie Noon at outside centres looked all right tonight. It has been. It's been pieces of skill more than team execution and strategy that's let them down. I don't know about Good. There's good and bad in his game.
We've got the Mortlockometer ready.
Oh,
Sterling Mortlock.
oh, tell us all, Greg Clark.
The flags are up. 8 points for this match for Sterling Mortlock, so he goes past Joe Roth. He moves from 5th into 4th on the all-time point scoring record for the Wallabies. More importantly, the Wallabies have more breathing space. It's 28 points to 11
I got to say, Kernsey, I thought it was going to be more spectacular than just going from 5th to 4th. I was thinking it's 12,000 points for a season.
I tell you what, there's been a few point scorers for the Wallabies over the years, and to be 4th all time is a great achievement.
Roffey would be dirty too, wouldn't he?
Oh, he'd be shattered. He would have turned the set off. We'll have a quiz for everyone who the top 4 are now, apart from Sterling Mortlock. We'll do that shortly, I'm sure. Here we go. Mike Catt sends it wide.
I've got to say that was a 3-pointer, by the way. It wasn't a conversion, so the scoreline is 29 points to 11. No, he's well and truly in front of Roffey now. 9 points for the match and not 8. My apologies to Sterling. Latham. Vardell hangs on. A little terrier.
No, 14.
Gerard into the kicking position.
And it's into touch. The quick throw in.
Oh, that's a beauty to Mike Catt.
Plenty of space, Catt. Across it goes now to Noon. Regan and War are there to meet him. 10-metre mark. Richards, good from the standing start.
Oh, nice play.
All behind the advantage line, though, and now it goes across. Vardell.
Turnover here,
contesting it and winning it. Now Baxter goes in. Latham. Now it's Larkham.
Need someone to run straight.
Wardlock. Here's Gregan. Gregan. Gerard. One to beat. Larkham. Gerard, the Brumby. Combination is too good down the short side. And Mark Gerard has got a double.
You called it, Kernsey. You said needs someone to run straight. It didn't need that person to have received the ball. It was the whoever cut back in, changed the angle, grabbed 1 or maybe 2 defenders before Gregan got the ball. That's where the overlap occurred, and then it became a game of basketball. Larkham to Gerard, Gerard back to Larkham, Larkham back to Gerard stuff. Let's have a look at it. They were going slightly across field. Mortlock straight, and it was Phil Waugh who grabbed a defender. Gregan to Gerard. To Larkham, back to Gerard, over you go. There are no more white jerseys to beat. Number 2 for Gerard.
Yeah, Balshaw did as good a job as he possibly could trying to mark both of them. It was Waugh that came back at the angle. George kept running straight, which also created space for Gerard, Larkham, Gerard. That's Balshaw that was trying to get both of them. He couldn't do much more after that.
They'd worked hard, first of all, on the other side of the field. It had come wide. They were struggling a little bit with their across the field work, straightened it, and then they had the men.
Brumby's turning that one on. Gregan had a hand in it. Back play, the next man that would have received it should Gerard have needed some support was George Smith. There's another one for Mortlock.
Deacon and Ollie Barkley on the field for England.
36-11. Australia over England. Clyde Rathbone getting ready. Another taste of test match action.
This time, Mike Catt does come off, Clarkey, for Ollie Barkley is on.
Wardlock taps it down straight into Jones. He gives it back to Lund over the top to nobody. How many times have we seen that last pass go to ground?
Oh, there's a bit of a stink going on. George Shooter, the hooker, was right in the middle of that. Took exception to Latham doing something. Sanderson had no part of it. He's jumped in late too. This will be interesting, this chat with Latham.
Just calm down, okay? Yeah, well, just calm down. We're going to go on. There's no one pushing the gate. Just go back to you and calm down, please.
calm down is a very general piece of advice. I don't think Steve Walsh knew what happened. It happened after the tackle. So there's Latham. Made the tackle. He's held on to him all the way down, which is allowable. Have a look at Shooter. He causes a bit of trouble here.
Got his Lottie Takiri's complaining about his hair being pulled from Pat Sanderson there.
What?
You want to have a go, mate? Yeah, I'll have a go.
Hey, look at him. I do know George Smith's dreadlocks, one of them went at an sporting auction for $2,000 last year. So those things are worth a lot of money, those dreadlocks.
Well, Tana Umunga's handbag went for 20 grand in New Zealand. You can sell anything.
He just had to touch it, didn't own it.
68.5 minutes gone. Australia 36, England 11. A great attacking opportunity here for the tourists.
There's another try-scoring opportunity lost by the English. Trevor Woodman up here in the box, absolutely talking about pulling hair. He's pulling his out.
Rogers having a breather. Rocky Elsom is off, and
he's trouble.
The ball is loose, but George Smith trying to clean up and lost it and then regained the possession. Scrum 5 metres out. Nice touch there from Mike Catt.
Currency, what happens if England all of a sudden go, well, actually we can pack and try a pushover? That's you're in trouble then, aren't you?
Can't do that.
No, you
That's
can't.
naughty.
Oh, no. It's just a...
Stay down, 19.
The front rowers club. Phil Waugh's part of it. Oh no, he's not. He's on the side of the scrum.
Good. Little grubber kick. Not bad, but Phil Waugh read it. Place the ball, so we come back to the 22.
Yeah, Wallabies would have been expecting that after the little efforts that England put in last week, which was so effective.
But the thing is, you're going to grub a kick, you're relying on the flankers, the extra men in defence to be bound. Phil Waugh was loose and ready to go.
Okay.
One in the air by the Wallabies. Kay was there to claim it for England, and so they're still parked inside the Wallabies 22. Latham, across it goes to Larkham. Won't find touch. Van Dell has it. Cross now to Belshaw. He kicks and chases right into the breadbasket of Gregan. Back it goes to Gerard. And Latham having a go. Chris Latham straight through. Jeremy Paul. Bill Waugh. Oh, the basketball pass on the inside went over the top of Paul. Van Dell was back there. And now the penalty goes against the Wallabies.
This man here rolled out of it.
Unnecessary pass from Jeremy Paul. He didn't have to go over the top. Now, Latham got hammered here after he unloaded, I think. Oh, something happened there. I know he's still on the ground. That pass unnecessary.
Yeah, Good dropped something into him there. But Jeremy Paul had his defender running backwards. He could have just kept going.
He shows great judgment.
Let's go to Rod Kafer in the bunker. And what about the Wallaby defence, Rod? Are you happy with that?
No, I think there's been a few issues with the Wallabies in their defence, particularly England making a couple of breaks through the middle of them. And there was a bit of spacing issue, which was probably the biggest problem. Just the width in the defence. Steve Larkham and Rocky Elsom too far apart, and George Smith too far apart. George Smith keeps going forward and gets caught having to look back inside. So that's an issue for them that they'll work on during the week.
Chris Latham not healthy. He's coming from the field.
We've seen the best of Chris Latham on attack tonight, haven't we? How he finds those gaps is beyond me.
So what did happen after he unloaded it here? No, nothing great too much there.
Oh, he's maybe run into the elbow of Stephen Larkham. That is freakish. England finding touch.
The Wallabies are ready, waiting for an English forward pack.
36-11. 9 minutes remaining. Time running out for England. And now Larkham. There's the advantage line. You see the shaded area. The Wallabies almost there. Dakiri. Up to the line. Gregan. Up over halfway. Pick and drive. Vipalu. Playing advantage here for the Wallabies. Picking up some good meters. George Smith. Now Gregan gets his hands on it. Out to Takiri.
Oh, no support.
Tackle by Mears.
Well, you may be right. I called it over. I think you're right, eh? Ben.
He's playing advantage. Pulled it over. The Wallabies holding on to the tackle.
Yeah, you can see the game loosening up at this late stage. Both teams getting a bit softer on discipline.
I think Ben Kay's tried pretty hard tonight for England. Probably been the pick of their forwards. Tudor's been solid.
Goal hit, get blue.
Sanderson used an interesting role. Bit of a ball player, runner.
Thank you, mate. White ball.
Gets through a fair bit of work.
Move everybody, please. No. Get everyone down, please.
Just some good whinging going on in that line out.
And Shooter finds the target. Ben Kay having a run. Got rid of Larkham. Goes to ground now. 30 metres out. Good. Plenty of white jerseys out wide, but they cough it up.
Just a lot of looking on that occasion from the England backs as they got the ball. Looking, stopping, stuttering.
Look at the turnovers, almost twice as many from the English, and also handling errors. And Good, their fly half on that occasion, as in many, his first step is across field. At no stage did he try to take it at the opposition, and that just puts your outside men under a bit more pressure. Makes the defence a lot easier for men like Mortlock. Gerard, technically when he kicks, it's a strange one. It's virtually a round the corner punt kick.
Cameron Shepherd on for the Wallabies along with Hyde Rathbone. So again, everybody getting a run. Judah tapped down immediately to Judah.
Oh, it's tough. That's brilliant.
Well. Keep it in play. And Good. As it goes to Barkley and onto the support. Over the halfway line they go, England. Richards. Gives it to Jones. Richards looking for another runner. Dragged in by Good and across to Shooter, who's having a run tonight, popping up all over the place. The try scorer for England, the hooker. Barkley, Good. And here's Mears, taken by Smith, but offloaded, and that's good work. So continue to have a dig, England. No way through there, though. Good defence by Sharp and also George Smith. And now they've lost it. Chisholm lays it back. Regan, Larkham, dummying, short side they go. There's Sharp, War, Sharp, dummying.
Oh,
Sharp!
he's away!
He's got pulled!
Oh, it's a shocker infield.
You do get excited when you're a lock forward and you've run 40 metres, you find yourself in the clear. You do say, gosh, I wish I threw that better.
Ben, I didn't see it like that, but I understand what you're saying, eh?
In the 76th minute, just couldn't gather the strength to offload on the inside with a decent pass. What about the dummy?
Well, he fended off Phil Waugh, but then that one. And that's somewhere where they'll get on the lead up to the World Cup, because that's a skill letdown.
Well, what about George Gregan tonight, coming off the bench to break the world record? Rod Kafer, your thoughts?
and he's running at the ball.
Come on, please. Scrum wide.
Eyes forward the whole time. George on attack.
So having a bit of a dart tonight, George Gregan.
If you just joined us and wondering what's going on with the scrums, uncontested. England lost 2 props, unable to field a front row capable of packing properly.
Beers waiting for it. Is good. Barkley, Belshaw, Vandell. Every time he looks up, he's got Takiri breathing down his neck.
Takiri, on that occasion, dragged Vandell over the sideline like it was an old carpet that you were taking, an old rug you're taking out of your house to the dump. Has not let him have a moment's peace. Vandell beat him once last weekend. Takiri has not forgotten defensive turnovers. That's 9 conceded by the English.
36-11. 3 minutes remaining. And the Cook Cup heading back to Australia. That's the halfway mark. Now Gregan, the Wallabies, got another 5-pointer in them. Here's Larkham, cut out pass. Takiri. Takiri. Shepherd's on the inside. Takiri. To Shepherd. Larkham! Have they got another 5-pointer? You better believe it. Stephen Larkham scores the try. 22nd try at internationals. 32 years of age, his 84th Test match, now 5th on the all-time list of Wallaby appearances. But you can put that one down to Lottie Takiri, just punching his way up the middle.
Geez, I can't help but feel Cameron Shepherd's work was decisive too. Takiri went bang off the right. Shepherd's the one moving up on the inside. Took and gave, bang, bang. That's great play. Larkham did the easy stuff. Takiri did the star stuff. But without Shepherd, that could not have been a try. Watch some of Shepherd's work in support. You see him looming now. Good movement and got there. That's good hands, and that's good hands to Larkham.
Six tries to the Wallabies, 3 in each half. 41 points to 11. Kick to come from Mortlock. Legs are up again, though it's 43-11. Worth another look here. Takiri, plenty of space.
Look at him go. That's a good ball. It sucked in 2 defenders, but Shepherd, he was the star of that, of the final bit of that for mine. Larkham, easy as you like.
And there's more time on the clock for the Wallabies if they want to have one final crack. Shepherd.
Good little cameo from Cameron Shepherd too.
Gregan. Now Larkham. Over the top it goes. Smith. It's play on.
Oh, hold on.
Smith. Inside. Baxter. The front rower up there in support. Goes to ground.
No, wait! Pulls out.
Larkham.
Pulls out.
It's out. And there's a chance here for England to run away at the net.
Regan's chasing Clarkey.
Regan. He got Walsh. And that is Payne. Good cover defence by the Wallabies. George Gregan again in cover. Walsh. Sanderson. Full-time siren sounds. They've got numbers over on the right, England, and Belshaw's going to take them on. Belshaw. Vandell! And Vandell is going to have the last say for England. It's not enough to save the Cook Cup. Consolation try to the youngster.
First time he's beaten Lottie Takiri for the whole night. And the simple fact was he didn't have to beat him. He was beaten by the ball work on the inside. They'd stretched it to full 66. That's where the turnover occurred. If you saw nothing else with this, you thought it was a try, but then Gregan came across, and that's a hard tackle. Still made it. Payne, the replacement prop. There was a penalty there for George Gregan, not coming through the gate. They go from here, the full 66 metres across the other side of the field. They had the numbers. Lottie Takiri had his eye on the last man, but had to go in and take Balshaw, allowing Varndell the easiest of tries in the end. And that is full time.
And the flags are up. So at full time at the Telstra Dome in Melbourne, Australia. Sterling Mortlock, captain of Australia tonight, but George Gregan has captained the Wallabies for over 50 test matches, and tonight, in his world record-breaking 120th test match appearance, gets to lift the Cook Cup with Sterling Mortlock. Australia, holders of the Cook Cup. And I'll ask Sterling to say a few words.
Firstly, to Pat and England boys, thank you very much for the last 2 weeks. The manner in which you played the games, very physical, tough battles, exactly what we needed heading into Ireland next week in the Tri-Nations later on. To the crowd, thank you very much for your support tonight. You're integral in our game. We really love coming down and playing here in Melbourne. Thanks very much. To the boys, the whole squad, we've got a real excellent depth this year. It's a real squad mentality. Everyone who gave the last 2 weeks, well done, boys. Thanks very much.
Once again, thanks to Sterling and the Wallabies, thanks to Pat Sanderson and England, our thanks to our dignitaries as well. And Melbourne, thank you very much for coming along and supporting the Bundaberg Rum series. We'll see you again, no doubt about that. But for now, let's celebrate the Cook Cup returning to our shores. Compliments of the Wallabies' 2-0 victory in the series. Thank you very much.